Hello and welcome to my channel CES Chalo English Sikhen. Friends, today's topic is simple present tense. In this video, I will focus on how to identify the tense of an English statement, basically simple present tense. So let's see the definition over here. This tense generally states or expresses the following actions or conditions. Number one, nature. That means the activities which are done by someone because nature has made them to do so. It's in their gene. For example, eats meat. Eating meat is the nature of a lion's cub, and the nature that means the God has made him do so. Hence, we have to write a statement where we have to show someone's nature. We will use simple present tense. Hence, when we have to write a statement where we have to show someone's nature, we will use simple present tense. That's about writing. Now suppose we have to identify the nature of this statement. In that case, the first way is to sense the statement. That is, the statement is showing someone's nature. And the second way is to look at the form of verb. And over here, it is V5, which is the fifth form of verb. And for your information, V5 is only used with simple present tense. Now, number two, habit. What does it mean? It means an action which is done by someone because of his regular practice. In other words, the doer or subject is habituated of that action. For example, Rahul sleeps at 9 p.m. Here, sleeping of Rahul at 9 p.m. is a habit. That means he is in regular practice of this action and at this particular time. So for identification of this tense, we can see that this statement is showing a habit of someone. This is number one. And second, by the form of verb, which is again V5, that is sleeps. So as discussed earlier, V5 is only used with simple present tense. Now number three, permanent activity. What does it mean? It means an activity which is done on daily basis as a job or responsibility. For example, I go to office at 8 a.m. So going to office at 8 a.m. is a permanent activity. This is not a habit or nature. It is a duty which I do every day. Now about identification, first, as the statement shows permanent activity, and the second, the use of first form of verb just after the subject. So whenever V1 is used just after the subject, it will be a simple present tense statement. See here, go is the first form of verb. Now the fourth rule, which is eternal truth. What do you understand by eternal truth? An eternal truth is a universal fact which nobody can change or deny. For example, the sun rises in the east. So the rising of sun is an eternal truth which is expressed or stated in simple present tense. Now come to the identification. Number one, the statement is eternal truth. So if any statement which expresses eternal truth, that will be a simple present tense statement. And the number two is the fifth form of verb again, which is only used in simple present tense. Now the fifth rule, which is principle. It means a belief or faith in something, especially in good work. For example, I believe in honesty. So believing in honesty is a principle, like our Honorable President, late Dr. Abdul Kalam, since we all know that Dr. Abdul Kalam had a great belief in honesty. So now come to the identification of tense. How do we identify if this statement is in simple present tense? Number one, this statement expresses principle. Number two, use of V1 just after the subject. You might have this question in your mind that a negative sentence doesn't use verb after the subject. That's right. And for this clarification, you can refer to my video Structure of Tense, where all the details regarding the structure is explained very well. Right? As of now, since I have taken the example of affirmative sentence, we can see that the first form of verb is used just after the subject. If this would be a negative sentence, then after the subject, auxiliary verb, which is do or does, will be used with not and then the first form of verb. That's why it is very important for us, if we want to have a good command on the identification of tense, we need to have, and say, not only good, a great knowledge on this structure of tenses. So I would request you to please go ahead and watch my video, the structure of tense. Now there is one more way of writing simple present tense statement. That is, this tense is also used to express the action which is fixed or pre-decided for future time. So what I'm saying, an action which is fixed or pre-decided for future time. But for that pre-decided action, a verb of time has to be there in the sentence, like tomorrow, next year, 10 a.m., upcoming year, any kind of these adverb of time. If available in the sentence, then we will not use simple future tense, we will instead use simple present tense. For example, the American president comes here tomorrow. Now here, the identification can only be done by the form of verb, which is either V1 or V5 just after the subject. So in this statement, verb 5 is used. But don't get confused with the word tomorrow, because tomorrow is the adverb of time, which is a very important condition if we have to write a sentence in simple present tense for the future planned action. Right? So if there is an action which is planned for future, that has to be written in simple present tense, but for that adverb of time like tomorrow has to be there in the sentence. Let's move to the second example. In the second example, it says the train starts at 10 a.m. Now here also 10 a.m. is adverb of time and it is pre-decided, that is prefixed. So for prefixed action for future time, if adverb of time is mentioned in a sentence, then we will not use simple future tense. Instead, we will use simple present tense. And the second identification is through the form of verb. Over here, the fifth form of verb is used. Since we know, we have already discussed that fifth form of verb is only used with simple present tense. Now let's move to an important tip which I want to give, but for that we need to let's have a quick recap of this video, what we have discussed as of now. So simple present tense generally states or expresses the following kind of expressions. Number one, nature, that is the cub eats meat. Number two is habit, that is Rahul sleeps at 9 p.m. Number three is permanent activity, which is I go to office at 8 a.m. Number fourth is eternal truth, which is the sun rises in the east. Number fifth is principle, I believe in honesty. And number six is a pre-planned action for the future time, but adverb of time has to be there in the sentence. Now if these conditions are there, then we will use simple present tense. And if we can see if any statement has these conditions, then we can say that identify that this statement is written in simple present tense. Apart from that, an important tip which I want to give you, in simple present tense statement, no action happens. I repeat, in simple present tense statement, no action happens. Only the speaker states something or says something, but doesn't do anything in the sentence. For that, other tenses are used. For example, if you look at the earlier discussed sentences like the cub eats meat, Rahul sleeps at 9 p.m., I go to office at 8 a.m., the sun rises in the east, I believe in honesty, the president comes here tomorrow. In any of the statement, there is no work happens over here. It's just I am stating something to somebody. The speaker is not doing any work. Speaker is just narrating or is just stating or saying something to somebody. So this is a very important tip which you can understand and which you can take help of in order to identify a simple present tense statement. I hope you must have enjoyed this video and must have understood the concept of identification of sentence in English. That how do you identify if this statement is written in simple present tense or not. Now, thank you very much for giving your precious time and keep learning. Stay with us. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel CES and do press the bell icon for the further notification. Till then, thank you very much. Have a great day ahead.